Hey soldiers, by now you are well aware of the fact that Queen Elizabeth has passed away. Now the subject of this video is her successor, now King Charles. The reason we're going to talk about Charles is because he is heavily aligned with the World Economic Forum, and he is just fanatical when it comes to the green agenda. Now that has financial implications for the UK, but for the world. Remember, like him or not, agree with the monarchy or not, this individual is a bona fide world leader. And he is the king now of a country that is mired in energy poverty. People are going broke trying to heat their homes, cool their homes, and have lights on. We've talked ad nauseum about the $10,000 gas and electric bills that some in the UK are receiving. Okay, that seems to be the high point. But you know, if you got a $2,000 gas and electric bill, that would be disconcerting to say the least, right? So this is the country he's inheriting. Now, before I did this video, I had to take a look and see if the monarchy had any real authority. Or were they just figureheads? Actually, it's the former. They do have authority. So again, this is a bona fide world leader, and part of that authority, in that they have the right to actually overrule the prime minister. There is a prerogative within their constitution that allows the monarchy, the king, or the queen, or whomever's in charge, to do that. Okay. Now, they haven't pulled that card, to my knowledge, in recent history at least, but they can, right?
For king and country.
Now, they probably don't have to do it simply because they could just make a phone call and, you know, kind of influence things in the way that they want them to go. I think we're going to see more. The UK is going to see more of this green agenda, and they're going to see fewer and fewer options to affordably have the type of power that powers the modern 21st century. Another aspect of the authority that now King Charles will have, and this is coming straight from the parliament.uk. Okay, so if anyone would know, it's their government. Just want you to know, I admittedly don't know a lot about their system, so I'm going to the horse's mouth here. Along with the House of Commons and the House of Lords. Now, I do know the House of Commons is akin to our Congress. The House of Lords is kind of synonymous with our Senate. The Crown is an integral part of the institution of Parliament. Parliament being their Congress, I guess we could equate it to. The Queen plays a constitutional role in opening and dissolving Parliament and approving bills before they become law. So with that kind of authority, okay, you know that whatever Charles wants, he's going to get, okay? And he is going to he's going to further cement this leftist agenda. Now, of course, he won't abide by the rules and edicts that, he foisted on others. Of course not. He's the king, right? But I just foresee dark days and very expensive days and cold days, okay, in the UK at least, in Western Europe, and unless there's some development with regard to a change in leadership here in the United States of America, when we have our midterms coming up here in November, then we're going to be in that same boat. Remember, they're not talking about the fact that energy prices here in America are climbing, okay? Mohammed bin Salman has just said that he's going to cut back on oil production. OPEC's about to constrict oil production as we go into the winter of the Northern Hemisphere, 2022, here in America, Western Europe, the UK, Northern Africa. You got to go pretty high up to get some, pretty frosty weather in Africa. But there are nights when you got to turn the heat on, okay? So that's where we are. I just wanted to just comment on this because with her passing away. Now, I think that, she was old school. She probably didn't really get down with a lot of the newfangled agenda that Charles and the others are on. But Charles is definitely on it, man. And as someone who's out there who's very influential, who has access to money, a lot of it, okay? And keep this in mind. London is a major financial center. New York, London, and Frankfurt are the linchpins of finance, global finance, for the world. I was going to say in the West, but really for the world. Manhattan, London, and Frankfurt. Okay, so we've got a major financial capital, gateway to Europe. Do you really think J.P. Morgan is going to buck the King of England when he comes down with all of this ESG nonsense? I'm going to finish this out. I want to just go over this incomprehensible word salad that he put together. He was a prince when he put it together. And interestingly enough, this is on the World Economic Forum's website. This is entitled Prince Charles's 10 Actions We Must Take to Drive the Green Recovery. Now, I was getting a headache trying to read through some of these, so I'm not going to read them all. You can feel free to do that if you like. The current pandemic has brought unimaginable devastation to people's lives and livelihoods and national economies. At the same time, the green recovery offers an unprecedented opportunity to rethink and, his words, reset the ways in which we live and do business. Mind you, this is Charles writing this, and this is on the World Economic Forum's website. I have long believed we need a shift in our economic model that places nature and the world's transition to net zero at the heart of how we operate, prioritizing the pursuit of sustainable, inclusive growth in the decades to come. They're not about sustainable growth, okay? They want a light switch. Sustainable growth would be continuing to develop green technologies, sustainable technologies, and weaning the world off of these exhaustible energy sources. Let's get away from the fact that, some people want to characterize, it's dirty oil. The earth produces oil, okay? It is natural. So I'm not going to say, is water dirty, okay, in that respect? So I'm going to encourage people to think about oil as exhaustible, okay? We very well can't use it to power us into the, into the 22nd century, right? So we do need new sources of energy, but we need to gradually adopt those and allow our technology to become so strong that it is a viable alternative, okay, that doesn't leave us with these shortages. Having been championing climate action for 40 years, this isn't a fight for the faint-hearted, but we are seeing more businesses, investors, and consumers prioritizing sustainability and thus creating a much more virtuous cycle of supply and demand. Spoken like someone who has never had to worry about where his next meal is coming from or filling up a gas tank. By leveraging market forces and the immense resources of the private sector, okay, there is hope that we can transform the situation. But I'm afraid we are literally at the last hour. Here comes the evangelical doom and gloom, the old town hell, fire, and brimstone. The end is nigh. They always got to throw that in there. The emotional, tug. We all gonna die. We're at the last hour. He thinks we're at the last hour, and there's real urgency for action. We know now what we have to do to rescue the situation rather than going on talking about it. Now, I can assure you that the amount of energy they're using at Balmoral Castle is probably such that they're probably getting a, bill in the tens of thousands. He never sees it. He ain't paying for it. You know who pays for it? the taxpayers of England. In September, to mark Climate Week, I called for a new Marshall-like plan for people, planet, and nature. I look forward to detailing and mobilizing action for this plan in the weeks ahead. Then he goes on to his, he says, today, as we focus on financing and investment to drive the green recovery, I would like to highlight 10 actions that can make a tremendous difference. Now, this is where I'm going to bow out, because here's number one. Proactively mobilize investment in sustainable infrastructure with a focus on carving out a global asset class for sustainable project financing to unlock capital currently invested elsewhere. This is number two, establish functioning global markets for natural capital and carbon offsets, enabling rewards for negative emissions by developing new market frameworks. It's getting into word salad, okay, gobbledygook. He's just stringing things together to sound nice, buzzwords. Promote and scale up of emerging technologies that support sustainability and provide them with the advisory support they need to access capital markets more quickly. All right, I'm going to bow out at number three. You can read the remaining 7 at your leisure, but this is what we're going to be looking forward to with King Charles now. And keep in mind, he's not term limited, so seems like that family has a pretty decent lifespan, so he could be around for quite some time. All right, guys, that's about it for right now. As always, I want you to take a look at this video that we have posted here. It's another video about the World Economic Forum and the fact that Klaus Schwab, Bill Gates, and some of their little functionaries believe that there are too many humans on the planet. After all, we do exhale carbon dioxide. Let me say something about that. If you really were all for a green agenda, doesn't carbon dioxide help with that, because plants absorb that and it helps them grow? In any event, watch that video, guys, and I will talk to you soon.